just for the mowers. I can get 6 mowers. Yeah.
How many mowers do you got?
6.
So then what's gonna happen to the other shed?
No, the other side will be.
Hey, that makes sense. At
We
least
just run that around.
I see that.
We can only get 1 mower.
Three different styles.
Okay, we're off on a hike. It's the Miko Bluff. This is sponsored by the Tropical Trekkers of the Florida Trail Association, and this is a 10-mile hike. I don't think I'll go 10 miles, but beautiful. So we'll catch a little bit more scenery here as we go. Okay, I'm probably a mile in here on the trail, and the trail, I've never been on this trail. It's supposed to follow along the Kissimmee River and going through a lot of swampy area. There's a big group of hikers up in front of us. I kind of made a wrong turn, got off into the campground. So I had to track back and probably a quarter mile, get back on the trail. Haven't seen any wildlife while hiking out here, but I went down to the porta potty when I first got here, did my chore, and on the way back, a coyote crossed the trail right in front of me. That was interesting. But I'm sure there's lots of wildlife out here. Just haven't seen any yet. Hear the noise on probably US 98 road noise. Okay, back again in a little while. So we got a little treat here, wild horses. They look well fed.
Yeah.
Plenty to graze on.
Yeah, plenty. Yeah, okay, we're walking through some jungle here, and the trails are well marked, even though I got off in the wrong direction right at the start. But yeah, very well marked. Tropical trekkers do a great job out here, maintaining the trail and keeping it marked well. Yeah, every 3 miles here, they're supposed to, and I'm sure they do, have aid stations where you can hydrate, take a rest, take a snack. Got a little low-hanging branch here, gotta watch the head. This is pretty cool. Jungle trek. So far, coyote and wild horses. Yeah, wildlife I've seen here. Okay, we'll catch up with you in a little while. Okay, now we're coming across some prairie. And this trail is bordered by ranches, cattle ranches. People, they own the ranches. They've been 6-7 generations in owning those ranches. In the early 20th century, they got the name crackers because they would take their horses, ride the horses, crack bullwhips to get the cattle out from the underbrush, move them along. So they got the name crackers. I don't know if they still use that name today. I don't know if they still ride horses on these cattle ranches. Well, anyhow, I didn't finish my story about Florida cattle ranchers. Some hikers came by, and I stopped to talk to them a second. So anyhow, Florida rivals Texas in cattle production. So it's a big agricultural state. Most people think of Florida, they think of the beaches, Miami Beach, Palm Beach, all the coastal areas, and that's where the population is. You get 5 miles outside of the populated coastal areas, and it's all agriculture, farmland, ranches, cattle, a lot of good stuff, really. So here on the Florida Trail, we get to kind of walk on the edge of some of these cattle ranches. So we're still in the jungle. We should be coming up on an aid station here shortly at 3 miles or thereabouts. Be time to hydrate, get some electrolytes. I certainly don't want to get all cramped up on the drive back. It's about 65 miles from where we live here in Florida out to this trail. So it'd be a good hour and a half sitting in the truck. So I don't want to get cramped up. Oh, some low-hanging live oak. Headbangers. All right, we had one little stream crossing, and they had planks down so you could cross it without getting your feet wet, but there were some muddy areas, and the old shoes here got muddy, but that's all a part of hiking in Florida. Sometimes you have to hike in knee-deep water, but I'm not going to do that. Here's the aid station. Well, a little rough walking here. This is a muddy section of the trail, and the hogs have been in here rooting it up, so it's pretty difficult to walk. In fact, I got my shoe stuck in the mud and it almost pulled it off. My heel came out, and I was holding the shoe on with my toe, but show you what we're dealing with. Well, here's the prairie and the farmer's ranch. Huge. That is what we are dealing with. Slow going slog. windy too. Actually, that breeze feels pretty damn good, but windy. All right, getting too far behind here. Keep moving on. See you in a little bit. Okay, out of the muck. A little easier walking part of the trail. We're almost 6 miles, so we ought to have a aid station coming up. So I gotta watch what I'm doing. There we go. Moving to the creek. And some nice ladies behind me. I walked through the muddy stuff for a while, following them. Couldn't pass them really because there's only one place to walk, where it's reasonable anyhow. So, yeah, 6 miles. I'm getting a bit tired. I got 4 more to go. So, that's going to be fun. So, just checking in. And I'll get back with you here shortly. Just running around here. Should come around the corner and hit the aid station real quick. All right, catch you later. All right, here I am. I'm 7.67 miles into the trail, and now I get to cross this a mud bog here. Not the first one. Had to get across. So we get our feet a little wet. Hopefully not lose a shoe. Yeah, shoes want to stick in there. Oh, whoa. It wouldn't be fun to fall into that. Ew. A fire ant colony. No thanks. Don't want to get into that. Somebody stepped in it. Well, this is a much better piece of the trail than what I have been on. Some of it is just so hard to walk. It's all rutted, whatever, by hogs. Hard to walk, but this isn't so bad. I'm moving a little slower though. And we'll take a little rest, a little break, and keep moving on. I got a couple more miles to go, so then shuttle back to the truck, then an hour and a half drive home. So I'll probably check in with you here again. Hey, if not, if I don't, yeah, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. That helps out a lot, and I appreciate that. So, gonna keep moving. Thanks so much, and I'll probably see you again before I finish this thing up. All right, bye-bye. Okay, back again, and I'm about 9.35 miles into the trail, so the shuttle should be within a half a mile from here. So I look forward to that. It's hot. Last I looked at the little thermometer on my pack here, it was 84 degrees. And good wind, good breeze though. But lots of times you don't get that breeze out here in the jungle. So yeah, I'm ready for the ride back. And again, yeah, if you enjoyed this, subscribe. Hit a like button. So I appreciate you sticking with me this long, and I'm going to check back in when I get back to the main camp where my truck is. I'll check back in there but I wanted to jump back in here before I caught the shuttle and let you know where I'm at and how's it going. And it's going kind of rough. I'm tired. I am tired. I'm ready to get off. But it's been a challenge, and I guess if it wasn't a challenge, it wouldn't be worthwhile. So something to look back on and think, wow, that was a good challenge, a good hike. So it may not feel so good right now, but later on it will. So anyhow, I will catch you in a little bit. I'm going to flip the camera around and just show you a little bit of the scenery where I'm at. Not a lot to see off the trail, really. Except these big old live oaks. Some of them, I don't know how those big heavy limbs hang out there so far without falling. I'm glad they're not falling. All right, catch you in a few. All right, here we are in the wind. And I believe that's the pickup point on the shuttle vehicles. So we're right here. Soon to be sitting in a nice soft car seat. So catch up with you back at the main camp.
No.
All right, back at the trailhead where we started. So everybody's packing up, and I helped gather signs and do some other things here with the people that put this on. Very nice group.
Oh, let me get the medicine I had. I've been.
Okay, signing off. Take care, everybody. Well, I made it back home. Feels good to be sitting in a couch. And I just wanted to update you that everything went well. And actually, I helped the people there at the trail a little bit, not a great deal, just did a very small part. I picked up signs along the road and helped them tear down at the last check-in station a little bit. Certainly not close to even the amount of work that these volunteers do to carry out this trail, this walk, this Miko Bluff hike. And it's a yearly event, and it's turned into a yearly event. I guess it started because they celebrated the opening of that part of the trail about this time of the year, as I understand it, and they just every year continue to celebrate that with a long hike. So it was a pleasure to help them. Very little help, but at least I was there and I did a little something. So, and I made it home, and I did want to show you the disaster I have that's called socks and shoes. Okay, these shoes took a regular beating. There's caked with mud. Walking through swamps. Oh, yeah. And my socks. I got my feet wet several times, walked through the mud several times, walked through standing water, but it all turned out good. You know, it's all a challenge. So if it wasn't the challenge, like I said, I wouldn't do it. Anyhow, once again, thanks for watching. If you like, subscribe. If you like, okay. And I really appreciate you making it through the video with me. and through the hike as well. Actually, that 9 3/4 mile hike is, I was thinking it's about the longest hike, walk that I've done in one piece, one setting. So, and I challenged myself. I wanted to know that I could do that in the event that maybe I'm going to hike a longer trail, which I plan to do coming up this summer on the North Country Trail. Anyhow, thanks so much. We'll see you all later.